Alright, hello and welcome to another episode of Talking with Tanya. In today's episode, we're going to go over ADHD, our experiences, our challenges, and even some positives. So personally, I think I have it, but it's not something I realized I had until I was an adult. I'm not officially diagnosed because I just don't have the resources for it right now. It's kind of expensive, I guess you could say. It also doesn't show so much. It's not as obvious as it is in girls as it is for guys. Oh, these are my friends. These are my friends, and they also experience symptoms of ADHD. You guys have been diagnosed, right?
Yes.
As kids. And so what were your guys' experiences with it, and what prompted your diagnosis?
Man, where do I start as far as experiences go? Well, I'll start with what prompted my diagnosis. So, as a young boy, I was always really hyper. I like to see it as I just liked to explore. I liked to have just great experiences, you know. I was always jumping around, and to sum it up, people would just call me hyper. And what really prompted my diagnosis was when it became disruptive in school. I remember ever since kindergarten, man, even preschool, there was always a lot going on for me. I was always very active, jumping around. I was always the kid hanging from the monkey bars. Unfortunately, I did get in a lot of fights, even in preschool. And so those were some of the things that made it very evident that, okay, like, this kid's a bit different, he's fidgety, he likes to do a lot more physical activities, found it hard to sit still and not talk out of turn, that was one of the things where it really prompted my teachers to tell my parents, hey, like, he's doing great in school, but he talks too much, or he talks out of turn, or he cannot sit still, or he always wants to be with his buddies. And I think it was about second grade when I don't even remember going to the doctor and getting diagnosed. A lot of that was like a blur to me, but what I really do remember was the first time I was prescribed Ritalin. I remember in second grade, I was going to start my school day, and my mom, she just pulls out this little brown pill with some numbers on it, and she says, like, mijo, this is going to help you. It's going to help you, like, learn more, learn easier. It's going to be less stressful for you. And I was like, all right, like, whatever. I trust this, my mom, And I remember the first day that I took it, I just felt like a zombie. It completely changed my behavior, and in my opinion, not in a good way. My teachers were probably happy about it because I finally kind of shut up, but I was like leaning over in my desk. I was very tired, and I really couldn't focus. So it didn't really solve any problems for me. But yeah, I think just like the hyperactivity side of things is what really prompted my diagnosis, my diagnosis. So yeah.
So your grades got worse?
I'd say on the medication, I was like, I don't even know where I am. Like, I don't even really care. Like, I couldn't pay attention.
Yeah.
It's like for ADHD, it's like an overstimulation thing. So it's like I can't focus on one thing at a time. I go to another thing.
Yeah.
On the medication, for me, it like stopped all of that, and it was like I couldn't even focus. It was like such nausea, such a headache. I couldn't even focus on anything. So I know that's not everybody's experience who takes those types of stimulants, but for me, and I don't know, I have not tried it since I was a boy, but no, like, my grades were always fine in like the earlier years. I was able to grasp things easier, like language arts and the sciences and stuff. I always hated math. It just seemed like a different language to me, and I couldn't grasp it easily. Anything that took my mind, like, more effort than came like easily to me, like I didn't want to do it. Like, it didn't interest me. Numbers didn't really pique my interest. So no, my grades were fine. It was just like the behavioral side of things, like, really made a problem for me in academia. So yeah. What about you?
They made my mom check me out because I used to have, like you said, too much energy. And I would love talking. I would have outbursts all the time. like the teacher would ask a question and I'd figure it out like before anybody, and I would just shout it out. And she kind of would like to give people a chance or stuff like that. I remember they moved me around a lot, but they stopped moving me because I spoke to everyone. So it made no difference who I was next to. And then they moved me to the front of the class, but then like I would distract the teacher, so then she moved me to the back of the class. Like just whatever that is, self-contained in the corner of the room. But yeah, fortunately my mom never let me try any medication. She was really against it. But they really pushed her for it. Like now that I think about it, it was kind of inappropriate how they almost like they were like basically saying it without saying it, like don't bring him back to school without putting him on medication. And she's like, you guys are out of your minds.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I was just really disruptive, and I was like, if I was interested in the class lesson, I wanted to like share what I was learning or feeling at the moment. I wasn't very good at being patient.
So I actually remember a specific experience myself. I remember I was in 3rd grade and I was sitting, because I did not have the best experiences with teachers myself. Like I've been yelled at, I've been scolded, I've also been told to stop talking. But I remember a specific time in 3rd grade where we were sitting like on the carpet in the middle of the classroom, and we were reading like sentences. We were just like learning sentences, I guess. And we read the second line like so many times where I'm just gonna sit here until she starts the next one. And then I just started like thinking about other stuff. And she called me out and she said, "Where are we at?" And I was like, I'm scared. Like, did we move on, or are we still in that same damn sentence?
Yikes.
And I just stayed quiet. And then she said, "Okay, we're here." The same sentence.
That's crazy.
And she said, "Pay attention." And I'm just,
oh gosh.
yeah, man, I hated being called out. Like, I would just feel like my heart drop. I hate the attention on me, and that it would suck. But school's tough. I think for kids with ADHD, we need a specific like
environment,
and learning environment. Like learning strategies, methods. Wow.
I had a bunch of teachers. I have like a core memory where this teacher was like, "Just be quiet. I don't care." She was like, "Just be quiet.
Wow.
Just stop talking." And then I think she would like threaten like me not getting to go out in recess and stuff like that, or being like on a timeout. And I remember one time she's like, "I'm gonna call your mom," and I was like, "Okay, I'll be quiet." And then my mind would just be racing, and to me it felt like an eternity. And then I'd be like, "Okay, how about now?" And she'd be like, "No, be quiet." And I was like, but that was a long time.
That's crazy.
And then I'll be like, "Look, I'm being quiet." I'm being quiet. You know? And like she would just be like, "Oh my god," like I could tell they were losing their minds. And I was losing my mind because I was like, "You want me to give up on speech? Like when does it end?" You know?
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It felt like I had a fire under me or something. I always had to be like saying something or
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. I remembered. I think just about in every grade, man, I had trouble. Every single grade. Like I can name each teacher, and I can tell you an instance where I was in trouble. Like a good majority of my earlier grades before like 5th and 6th, I spent on the wall.
Wow.
In 1st grade, my behavior, although my grades were fine and up to par, my behavior was so disruptive according to the teacher, according to the environment that they set up for you, right? Sit in front of the teacher, get taught a few different subjects for 6 to 7 hours, have 30 minutes of recess. Like that's not enough for somebody with the ADHD type of brain. That's not enough physical stimulation, not enough like novelty, not enough movement. And I remember, especially in 1st grade, that's why I feel like I'm a decent reader, because in 1st grade, instead of going to recess, most of my recesses were taken away, and I would have to spend it on the wall reading these little booklets that are like 6 or 7 pages. And so it would be like these little stories, of like just little Timmy and playing baseball, blah blah blah, right? And so it's like I had to sit on the wall for lunch and for recess, and she would make me read. And so it's like the one thing that I didn't want and didn't need for my type of brain, she made me do it as a punishment because I couldn't sit still in the class. You see, it's like there was no remedy there. It was like she thought to fix it, she's gonna make me do the same thing that I couldn't stand to do.
Interesting.
And so I it's crazy, man. Like, I remember these things they used to give us in school. They're called character reminders.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of first grade, I remember so many times my dad would get called in
Yeah.
to come and talk to me, and poor guy, because he didn't know what the heck to do, like, a lot of I think at that time what they were doing is like throwing medication at it. That was like the early stages of throwing
really
the stimulants at it, right?
Yeah.
And for some kids it worked, but for me it did not. And I just remember my teacher, Mrs. Larson, she brought out this stack of what they called character reminders, and in some schools they're called demerits, right?
Yeah.
And for there it was like that grade, it was character reminders, and I just remember this large pink stack. And she would just, came and showed my dad, and it was like my dad was like, yeah, I'm sorry, we're trying to discipline and all this stuff, mentioning the methods and whatnot, trying to save face in front of the teacher.
Yeah.
But in reality, I feel like it was just such a handful for my parents. But I just remember, like, every single grade, boom, John, cut it out. Like, I'm gonna send you to the principal. Like, me and the principal were tight, because I went to the same school for like all the majority of the smaller grades. But what you were saying earlier about the separation of you from the class or from the teacher, that happened to me in such an extreme way that when I tell people that, they're like, that SOB needs to be not arrested, but investigated, bro, because that's it's so wrong. It's wrong. Yeah. And that's when I think it was at its peak, because I would get yelled at. I would get told to shut up. I remember this substitute teacher one time. His name was Mr. Wallner. If you're still alive, buddy, what's up? dude was really old by the time. When I was in the small grades. Yeah. He was a real one. He came in some big sunglasses and those like what you see as Birkenstocks now, and he'd wear those black nylon church socks. I remember all these details in Hawaiian shirts and stuff. He was probably swaggy when he was younger, but he was an old fogey when he was teaching us. And I remember one time I was leaning back in my chair talking to one of my classmates, and boom, just some old wrinkly hand just smacks the desk, bro, and I freak out, and I'm like, and he just tells me something like, "You will listen to me even if you're blind." I was like, what the hell?
What does that even mean?
You see what I'm saying? But I remember those words strictly. So things like that would happen. It was like I was just being pointed out, being singled out. And my 6th grade teacher, dude, put me he saw that he would put me in every corner of the class and it wouldn't work. And so he finally somehow got this freaking carpet wall and put me behind it for the whole year, separated me from the class. And so I could only see my classmates at recess, but during class time, all I could see was him on the board or him behind his desk. I could not see any of the students.
I feel like that's psychological warfare.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, damn, bro, I get it. In his teaching environment, he wants order, right? And I was the antithesis of order, right? The opposite. But I think that I'm just so happy that nowadays there's a lot better methods. There's agencies that have different aides. They hire women to deal with, or even men to deal with children who have these types of things, these type of behavioral.
It's super important because one of the things you just reminded me of was my sister's a nanny, right? Or she was a nanny for years, and she took care of a bunch of kids. Mm-hmm. And she took care of this little girl in the valley, and she struggled with all academics. Wow. But she showed signs of intelligence. Outside of the classroom, she's a brilliant little girl. She's funny and everything like that. Good sense of humor. And so finally they sent her to a specialist, and they realized that she just has specific ways that she needs to be taught. And she rose to the top of her class as soon as they started teaching her in different methods.
Wow.
She was off the charts smart.
Oh my
but
gosh,
they just needed to approach her properly.
Yeah.
Whatever the standard was not working. She couldn't understand it.
That's such a relief, dude. Wow.
So she went from the bottom of the class to gifted once they went about it differently.
Yeah. Dude, and I feel so bad for the kids like us who didn't have those types of methods, or the people who would like you said, go the extra mile and put in those efforts. And maybe there was a lack of research, maybe it was still relatively new, I'm not sure. But I just felt for me, and I don't know if I could speak for you guys as well, I was trying so freaking hard, dude. I was trying extremely hard and there was just some things like I couldn't grasp. I remember one of my friends, she was so clutch, man. This girl, I remember my 4th grade teacher not letting me leave for lunch break until I got this problem correct.
Wow.
And like my brain was somewhere else while she was teaching that method or teaching that how to handle that specific problem. And so I'm like, I gotta invent something and just hope it works. And so I was going time after time, and she was like, no, like, weren't you paying attention? And I'm like, yeah, like I was. But in my brain I'm like, hell no, I was not.
I was checked out.
And I remember that girl, her name was Ophelia, she was sitting next to me and she was about to finish her test and stuff like that, and she like kind of gave me the side eye and saw what problem I was on. And I remember she was like looking at the teacher, and the teacher was like, okay, like, I'll look at your test in a second, Ophelia. And I remember she graded her test and she was going to turn it in, and she flips to the very problem that I have, and she shows me, and she goes, like, look at it. And I was like, bro, like, she was so clutch for that, because I literally just, I'm a visual learner, right?
Yeah.
And so I literally just copied what she said, and boom, she's like, see, like, you got it. See what happens when you use your brain? And I'm just like, yeah,
That's
sure.
what happened. That's exactly what happened.
You goofy professor, like, I'm out. Like, I'm out of here, you know. And so different experiences like that, and then being on edge too, because I'm like, it's like I'm like stabbing in the dark, bro, trying to get through these things. What
Feel
like
desperate.
what seemed to be basic for the rest of the students, you know. So, yeah, it was a bit of a
It takes a
stressful.
toll on you.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember thinking, why is it so hard to be a good kid?
Yeah, dude.
Like, I remember being like, why am I always in trouble?
Yeah.
Like I didn't
Yeah.
want to be a bad kid. You know?
Yeah. I was put in a special education one time. I think I spent like a whole day there. There was this very fit special ed teacher, and the reason I think they chose this guy is because a lot of the special ed kids were just giant. These
Very
kids
strong.
were just humongous. Okay, like very strong, and a lot of them were 6th graders. You know, and at that time I think I was like in 3rd grade, so I'm just like. And the way my parents would dress me as like a nice little schoolboy, like I had a little comb over, I had my little polo and my like high white socks, you know, and I just remember getting sent to this teacher's class. His name is Mr. Cooper, and I remember just walking in with my little green pencil box and just walking in like, you know, okay, and Mr. Cooper was like, all right, like you can sit right here in the front of the class, and I just remember looking at these kids and they were ginormous, dude, and this class. These kids really, I think, needed that. I feel like I didn't belong there. I was placed there because teachers didn't know what the hell to do with me. Okay? Because these kids, like, the teacher walked out for a second and it was like hell broke loose. I remember this kid picking up this other kid and boom, slamming him on the desk. And I'm just like, it's fine. Like, everything's fine. Like, I don't know if you've seen that meme with the dog where everything's burning around him. He's just like, it's fine.
Everything's
So that was literally me. And I remember just like, what am I doing here? Like, I don't belong here. And I don't think I did. Like, I just think, like I said, they didn't know what to do with me, so they sent me to the disciplinarian teacher, Mr. Cooper, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, that kind of sums up, like, there's plenty that I can say, but that kind of sums up, like, what my experience was, you know? Pre, middle, and high school, you know? But, yeah.
My middle school was a better experience. But high school, I would say, was probably the best, where like I felt like I could almost claim like I had outgrown it. I found a way to kind of figure out school. Although I did have a bad year where I kind of slacked off on everything but math and science. Funny enough, I always loved numbers. I was always really into math. And so I had like A's in both of those classes, and I was like failing everything else, which confused everybody. Like I remember when they would talk about it in the office, they'd be like, "What?" And I got away with a lot of talking in math because I would catch everything so immediately that I'd finish my work ahead of time, and then my teacher became aware that I would sometimes kind of tutor people in the class. And for me, it was fun because I had such a firm grasp on it. I wanted to see how many different ways I could say it to somebody to get them to figure it out. And I helped a lot of people do like their homework sometimes even before leaving class. So he never really scolded me about talking. Like sometimes kids would try to get me in trouble for talking, and they'd be like, he'd just be like, don't worry about it. But in college, though, it got interesting because I became a serial procrastinator. And it took me to some wild extremes. Like, I had an art history class where we only had 3 major tests, and that was your entire grade. So if you bombed one, the best you could get is like a C or like a C minus. And I was kind of on cruise control, not taking notes for a third of the class, like weeks. And I remember I get to class one day and I pull out a Scantron. And I've always done really well with process of elimination and Scantron, like multiple choice. And I see everybody pull out the book packets, but only the packets though, you know, where you could like write essays and stuff. And I come to find out that the entire exam is written, and she's just gonna put pictures on a slideshow, and you're supposed to explain everything.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the name of the artwork, the artist, the movement, things that are special about that specific piece or the movement. And I instantly felt sick to my stomach. It's one of the few times I've been so nervous I could throw up. And I remember I started getting cold sweats and stuff, and the teacher came over and noticed, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I really don't want to throw up in your class." And she's like, "Get out of here." Like, and I remember being like, "I'm so sorry, I'll come back in a couple minutes." And she's like, "No, just take the test tomorrow." And she gave me like a 2 p.m. like in another building I was going to meet her appointment. And I remember I got out of class and I was just praying. I was so glad that I had an opportunity, like a second chance. And so I spent like the next 14 hours studying like weeks of stuff. And I remember she had a study guide with certain, you know, pictures and prompts. And I write very small, so I just like filled up the entire page with like dates and information and stuff. And in 14 hours I went over, I don't know how much time of, like a third of the class essentially. And I didn't sleep at all either. In those days I smoked, so I was just up smoking and studying. I didn't eat anything because I didn't want to get tired because I didn't sleep. So I went and I actually ended up getting 105% because I even knew the extra credit.
Wow.
Fortunately, my brain's really good at like remembering like facts and stuff like that. So I just drilled it all night, and yeah, I got over 100%, and she was impressed. Which also made me feel good because I didn't want her to feel funny about giving me a second opportunity. Like, if you're going to let somebody take a test tomorrow, you want them to ace it, I would imagine.
Sure, yeah.
But I didn't let that happen again, though.
Wow.
But that was, like, an absurd extreme. Like, just, I left everything to, like, the night before.
Jeez, dude.
And I just didn't sleep.
Damn.
Okay, so there's this one guy who I've been seeing come up on my feed a lot, and his name is Dr. Gabor Mate. I think I butchered that, so I apologize for that. But I find his work interesting because he sees ADHD through a different lens of instead of it just being genetic or hereditary, it's like almost nurtured and considered a coping mechanism by putting an emphasis on childhood environments, emotional stress, and attachment patterns. So it's because of like how our parents raised us, you know, the stress that they were going through, like their communication patterns. Maybe we were just too stressed and didn't know how to go through that environment, and we were the way we coped was just like going in La La Land or zoning out, because like what are we gonna do? Those are our caregivers. It's who are supposed to take care of us, and it's like where we live. It's not like we can exactly escape that. So I thought that was interesting that like ADHD is could be considered a coping mechanism to survive.
I heard of that very recently too, like within probably like 3 years ago. This is the first time I'd ever heard anybody, I think it was on an Instagram video, and it was like one of those old guys that's like in that field. And I remember he said that. He goes, yeah, sometimes children deal with trauma like that because they don't know what to do. So they either dissociate or they start distracting themselves quickly, just keeping their mind off of whatever they can't, you know, work through in the moment. And it's interesting because it makes you wonder, like, how much of that, like, how much of your ADHD is from trauma, and how much of it is just from, you know, genetics or your upbringing, your development.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, and I don't know about you guys, but I like to get to the bottom of things, and I feel like my brain, like that. The narrative that my brain likes is that if I get to the bottom of things, I can solve it. But in things like in instances like this, what I've come to learn through speaking with people, speaking with professionals, my own research, like meditation, different things like that, I've come to find out that sometimes you don't need to know how it started. Sometimes you may never know.
Yeah.
That isn't necessarily attached to your healing.
Yeah.
In
You
the
know?
future of it.
Yeah, exactly. And so I kind of made peace with that because, you know, I've asked a lot of questions to my parents. I've tried to go back into the memories,
Try to put it together.
thinking that this will be the source of my breakthrough, of my freedom, of my healing, or whatever, you know.
Mhm.
But in reality, it's like making peace with it,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. Telling yourself, I don't need to know. Like, what's important is what do I do right now. So
Yeah.
like being present in the moment is like that's all we have, right? Like we can't relive the past. We can't jump to the future.
True.
You know. So like being right here and being like, what are the tools that I have right now? Have I made peace with the past? You know, will I be okay? Can I be okay, even if I don't know what the future holds, what the foreseeable future holds? And just coming to terms with that and like rewiring my brain about like, I'm good. Whatever happens, like I'm chilling. Whatever happened in the past, yeah, I might have been a victim here and a victim of circumstance here and there or whatever, but like I'm here. Like I made it, you know, like and it seems like so simple. It seems like that sounds like a kid's cartoon or some little motivational thing, but it really holds a lot of weight when you do it intentionally, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's really helped me. And once I've made peace, believe it or not, once I've made peace with that whole like just narrative, I was able to have so much more. I learned so much more about the past, but I was coming at it from a peaceful place, not like an urgency of like I need to know so that I can be okay.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm okay and I'm open as the knowing comes. You know what I'm saying? And so my mom has like remembered things. My dad has remembered things. My grandma, like they were all bringing things up. It's like I was more open to it, ready to receive it, because I was going to do the right thing with it and accept it, because it's part of my past, right? Like, and then it's your choice what to do with it right now and how to move forward. So yeah, that was just like some huge breakthrough for me, because I wanted to blame.
Yeah.
My tendency was like the blame game. Why did you eat this way? Like, what were you doing when you were pregnant with me?
Yeah.
Like, why this? Why that? Like, and then like that can breed like resentment, right? But I've learned that some people who are responsible for the things that have, unfolded in my past, they were doing life for the first time as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it was a learning curve for them as well. And so just being able to have like grace with people, it's really just been liberating to experience that.
Point of view.
Yeah.
Well, for me personally, like I did also have a little bit of a resentment myself, but I also come to terms with like everything happens for a reason. All the bad, like I feel like you can't really know what's good unless you experience the bad. So like all my negative experiences kind of, I feel like, gave me more empathy and compassion towards other people who are potentially going through negative experiences. I also like to get the bottom of things as well. So like learning about why this happened to me, or like why I am the way I am. Like it makes me curious how I'm gonna raise my kids. Like like I'm gonna try and be less stressed than what my parents were. But since it's like genetic, like are they gonna have ADHD? And I kind of like having ADHD. I feel like it makes me more creative. Like I see the positives in it. And I don't know. I see it as a superpower a little bit.
Going back to what you said about like you can't see the good without the bad.
Yeah.
Another angle of that I like, I saw in an interview. It was on I think it was on the TV. This guy was asking who he was interviewing about a quote he had made, and he basically said, "What punishments from God aren't gifts?"
Oh, I remember. I think I've seen that clip. That's phenomenal.
And the guy's voice quivered when he read it, because it like really resonated with the interviewer. And the guy goes, "Yes." He goes, "Obviously, we prefer to be happy and good things to happen to us, but just as impactful as the good things are in shaping you, so are the hardships you pass. So you owe them as much as the good times for who you are now." So I thought that was, like a nice spin on it.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. I love that quote.
And sometimes you feel like they're punishments, but maybe there's like a deeper understanding you don't currently have.
100%.
And in reality, it's a gift because it might have protected you from something else, you know?
Wow.
That's what I try to reason about things. Sometimes whenever I feel like, why are things this way, I go, well, maybe it could have been bad another way, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting because I personally believe that to like a great degree, we are like the architect of our own destiny, you know? And that's not my quote, it's somebody else's quote, but I truly believe that. And so I believe that some of the hard things that we go through are our own choice. Like we put ourselves there, whether we know the outcome of our choice or not. It's like a lot of some of it is our choice, you know. But I love to think of it in this way. Like if you're like a person of faith, you know, you like believe in God, you know, because you just mentioned the quote. I like to think of it this way, like from the perspective of like Christianity. I hear a lot of people on podcasts say that like the God of the Bible is a suffering God. So he's not only looking down at us suffering, but also takes part in our suffering. You know, like, and I think about it as like from a father to a child, or a mother to a child. You might not be feeling the pain that the child feels, but you do feel pain, right? Because you're there and it's like you're bearing the burden with them, although you may not feel it physically. You're bearing the burden with them, and so that, I don't know, to me that's like, it's encouraging. It makes you think like, instead of, oh, why does this happen to me, it's like, man, like I was trusted to be strong enough to go through this. What is this going to breed for me? Like, you know, what's a quote that we like to say? It's like pressure busts pipes or makes diamonds. You know what I'm saying? And so I like to think of us making it to the age that we've made it, you know, to the adulthood, like the level of maturity that we have made it to. It's like, I don't know, it seems like a diamond to me, you know? But
there's definitely times I've gone through things, and like when it's finally over and I'm thinking like, wow, like I could do this, you know? And then like you start to think I didn't have to be that stressed at all after all.
It's not as bad as your brain made it think,
exactly,
right?
Wow.
Another positive quote I like to think about is from Bill Burr. He's a comedian. And he said, don't worry about it, it's gonna be okay. And he's like, and if it's not, you suffer then. He goes, why kill yourself on the way there?
I suffer beforehand, you know? Wow. And our brains are that powerful, right? Like,
I've tortured myself waiting to see if something bad is going to happen. And then when it doesn't, I feel like I got off death row or something. Like, I'm just...
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Feels like a whole ordeal.
Oh, man. Especially people with ADHD, too. Like, I feel like... I believe like we feel things like more intensely. Like, dude, I remember like looking at my mom like when I was a boy and saying like, why me? Like, why is this? Like, why me? And I remember like her not knowing what to do. Like, she just like got down on the ground, sat with me, and was like, put me to her chest and was like, son, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I'm sorry that you're suffering. I wish I knew. Like, I don't know. Like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? And I just remember feeling it so intensely. And feeling so upset, like I was like betrayed, you know, when something like hadn't gone my way. Like I just felt like beguiled, betrayed, you know, just, I don't know another word for it. Just, and I just remember feeling it so intensely in my whole body, you know, like I was crying and just upset, dude. Like those angry tears, like when you're a young kid and you're gonna fight and you end up crying out of nowhere. It was like that intense kind of feeling. I remember that many times over.
Rage.
Yeah, like rage, you know. So yeah, like the brain is such a powerful thing, and not letting it create a narrative that isn't, it's just a figment of your imagination, not letting your brain make it worse than it is. Like, it's crazy, but like at the ripe old age of 29, like I'm like, it's like I'm an active participant in that instead of like experiencing it passively. It's not happening to me. It's like I'm an active participant. I can look at the thought go by and it comes, I feel it, and I'm like, it's just a feeling. Like, I didn't have to live that story out, which was my imagination. It's not what it is. It's not what it actually is that's right in front of me. It's my brain is doing that. And so, but as a kid, you don't have those tools. You know, and at that time when we were children, our parents and our caretakers or whatever did not have those tools
Yeah.
or that awareness.
Yeah.
Compared to now, I really agree with you. Back then, it just felt like life happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so ADHD is obviously like could be difficult living with in every day-to-day life. So I wanted to talk about some of the challenges and the struggles that we face, you know, as adults, like having ADHD. I know some examples can include like losing your keys, your wallet, your phone, maybe making deadlines. I know procrastination we talked about is a huge one. Having a routine, staying motivated. Feeling emotions. You were talking about feeling intense emotions, but one of them being rejection, and that's something that it's hard to go through. You know, I got a dislike on one of my videos, and I just sat there thinking about it for like 2 hours. And I'm just thinking, like, why does this matter so much? You know, like I guess we just don't like to feel like we're less than or we're not enough, because we felt that throughout our whole childhood, growing up in school.
It's
so
a form of rejection.
yeah,
to be
it's tough, but it's something definitely I think we're all learning to overcome. People pleasing also falls in linked again. People pleasing is also considered linked to ADHD, and I see it within all of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? It's tough.
I don't know about me.
Yeah.
Especially when we were younger. When you were younger, you were your brother's keeper. Everybody was good enough to be your brother. It was one of the things I admired about you the most. Is like everybody was worth your time.
Didn't you say he said yes to everybody at the church who would ask
Oh
for
my
him to do
goodness!
stuff?
I would just tell people. They would come up. I'd be like, "He's busy," because they would literally be like, "Oh, those weeds are getting tall again in my yard, John," and he'd be like, "I'll be there Sunday," you know, and like, and like he wouldn't hang out. Like he'd like not have a social life to like, and I feel like it goes back to like the strength of his faith and how happy it made him feel to help people.
Yeah.
But I just feel like he didn't have a grip on a balance. Like I was telling everybody no. Like when I became friends with him, I was like, you guys should be ashamed of yourselves, because some people wouldn't even pay him. And I know he offered to do a lot of things for free. Yeah. But it's like, don't be gross, man. You know what I mean? Like this kid's at your house every other weekend. Like show him some love. Yeah. You know.
So I think one of the things I struggle with when it comes to people pleasing is that I do things because I know it makes them feel good. Oh, they want to hang out with me, or they want me to take care of their kids, or whatever. And even hanging out with friends, I find hard because sometimes I feel like I can't be my full self around people. Right. But I find with people with ADHD or neurodivergent, it's easier to be yourself, right? So it's easier to hang out with people like this.
More of a variety of expression.
But yeah, I struggle with the people pleasing side of like having to say yes, and sometimes I have a good time, you know. But I feel guilty like when I'm home and I know I'm not doing anything, and someone's trying to hit me up and hang out, and I'm like, I know I haven't talked to you in a while, and I know you like hanging out, so I feel like I have to say yes. You know. So that's where I struggle.
Feels like you got to do community service. You're like, it's for the good.
Yeah.
You know, good.
It's like I know I can't be my full self around you, but.
Dude, yeah, I struggle with that a lot, and it's so weird. Like
masking, right?
Masking,
I guess that would be masking, right? Dude, yeah, like I felt so bad to say no that I would be like, yeah, bro, I'll see what's up, and it's like, and this is quite embarrassing to me because I'll get to that. It's like people notice that pattern in me so much that when I'd be like, oh yeah, bro, for sure, like I'll hit you up, they're like, that's a no. Like they know, it's like I had done it so much. I got called out by some of my closer friends. Like it wasn't like everybody did that, but like to some of my closer friends who would make the effort to hang out or at least like try and set something up. Like, bro, let's catch up. Then I'd be like, yeah, bro, like I'll see what's up, you know. And they'd be like, I know what that means. Like
I like how you don't go for the full yes, because it's like, you know, your word means something. So it's like I'm trying to be nice by letting you down and saying, I'll see. Yeah.
But I felt it, and it's crazy because I'm like, that's not being authentic. Because I knew in my soul, I mean, in my heart and my soul, I was like, meh, like maybe not tonight, big fella, but like, I'd be like, I'll see what's good, bro. Like because I wanted to be like liked. I wanted to be like, oh yeah, like this dude is reliable, like you know what I mean, like all the good qualities. I wanted that to be seen, and so, like even going against what I wanted and what I thought and what I already had made up in my mind, just to like let them down, like you said, let them down easy or like appease them a little bit. Yeah. I was like, yeah, bro, I'll see what's up. Like, let me just do this and I'll hit you back, you know. And yeah, that sounds dope. Like, whatever, you know, I'd say whatever, and to the point where they were like,
I mean, how do you say no? What do you tell them?
No. That's it.
Well, I
Just be
think
like,
the
sorry,
people
bro.
pleaser
Not
in
today.
this, it feels bad.
Yeah.
It almost
You
feels
don't
like you're cussing
making
at someone.
people feeling bad. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
literally. And it's crazy because, like, now in adulthood, I'll be like, nah. Like, it's
not
like,
gonna
it's so
work.
weird because it's like all those things that I was, like, saturated in as far as, like, decision making to please people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like now I'm like, oh, yeah, I still like to please people, but, like, I have to check with my conscience first and be like, am I willing to do this, or am I saying yes just for them?
Right.
Yeah.
Will I enjoy this?
Yeah.
Or is it just like, oh no, because I want them to like me? And if that's
Find
what it
a
is,
balance,
it's like,
yeah.
I actually don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer not to. Sorry, like
That's
I'm
what
tired.
it is.
Like
Yeah.
I don't want to do it, and I don't feel bad. And I'm like, oh, thank you God, because
Burden, huh,
dude,
gone.
compared to before, bro, like you're right. Like you had
Right,
a first-hand view.
You
at
would
what-
wear it. I remember
Bro.
you had to say
Wow.
no to some people, and like we'd go skate later, and he would still be thinking about like the next time that he'd see them,
Yeah,
like if it was
yeah.
gonna be a problem.
Like I don't want to
Wow.
hurt. Like I don't want to hurt them. Like I don't want to da. And I still see traces of that now. But it's way less.
Yeah.
Way less.
That's
so,
good.
and I hope to bring it to its.
Like even though I don't like
Smallest
it when you
amount.
say
Yeah.
no to me, I'm like you said it with conviction. You know, like
yeah. Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh.
And I think that's what makes it easier about being around people who you can be your full self with. You don't have to mask.
yeah.
It's like I can't say no to you, and I know you'll still accept and love me anyway.
Yeah, it's
you
not
know?
gonna be
Yeah.
weird. There's
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.
Dude.
Because
yeah.
some people I've like one of my favorite lines from a rap song I heard was he goes, do somebody 4 favors when you can't do the 5th. How quick they forget. And it's like, but that also kind of helps you realize why people are in your life, you know? If like you're good to them, and then you have a low point or you're just not feeling it, and then they switch up on you, then it's like, you know, what were you in it for?
Yeah.
That's tough.
But isn't that a rough line?
That's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be afraid of that, you know what I mean? Like there should, like you said, there should be that comfort, trust, also mainly respect. Like what's the difference between you and I that it's a problem when I can't do something for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yikes. Yeah, I think that comes with like being comfortable with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, self-worth.
Because a lot of the times, like, I don't know why exactly. I know there's multiple reasons why, but like for a long time I didn't feel safe, and that goes back to the author that you mentioned. When you first shared him with me, and I started reading his book, I was like, oh my gosh, dude, like this makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, even unrelated to ADHD, I've gone through like a ton of trauma, physical trauma, and then like what I've maybe disassociated with was like emotional trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember a lot of it. Like I said, it was a blur. But if the ADHD symptoms are a trauma response, I'm like, what was that? What was the things that caused me to be like, this is not safe? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
I need to go to La La Land, and whatever that looked like in my childhood brain,
Mhm.
you know. And I think of, you know, what my parents were going through at the time. You know, a lot of rough stuff. I think how their temperament is. Like they're
Mhm.
both very high strung. You know,
Mhm.
especially my father. And one thing that the guy mentions in the book, that author, is that like kids, when they feel unsafe, it's like they will tend to go to that La La Land because their source of love is also their source of fear. So they don't know what to do.
Wow.
And then they're like, oh, what causes my source, whatever my source is, it would be a parent or caretaker, what causes that source to be joyful with me and happy with me and accept me? And that I feel like that's where like people pleasing is breeded. Because you're like, oh, so yeah, taking out the trash the first time, you know, causes this person to love me and not be unsafe with me, you know, whether that be yelling or smacking or chancla or whatever it is, you know. And so I was thinking about that, and I was like, damn, bro, the source of love is also your source of fear. What could a child do? They're like, I need to eat, I need to live, I want to be warm, but I also don't want to be beat. I also don't want to like be yelled at or be like, you know, torn down with words.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think about it, I'm like, damn, so that's part of what ADHD is. It's
Yeah.
a safety thing.
Coping
You're like trying to
mechanism.
cope, and then as an adult, when I realized that, after just going into my memories and stuff, I experimented telling myself that I'm safe. What I'm trying to say is that like I just tried rewiring my brain, telling myself I'm safe. I was like, my conscience was clear.
Mhm.
I had like prayed and just been like, hey, like this is me, I'm naked, like, you know, this is who I am, and like this is what you say about me, like God, this was in my prayer. And I was like, and you know, I read that it says you accept me and everything like that, so like I'm gonna err on your side and accept me too. And so I tried a week of that, just like being authentic, telling myself I'm safe whenever I feel like my nervous system getting like turned up. I'm just like, I'm good, bro. Like my conscience is clear, I'm safe. Like everything's not perfect, but like who cares? I'm here right now. And dude, the effect that had on my brain and on my body was phenomenal. I've never felt better. It was simply, I felt safe. I felt safe being John. I felt safe being whatever, with my characteristics and everything like that. And I felt like such a safety, such a security, such a tranquility, that even people I bumped into were like, bro, like, you look good, bro. And I was tired. I was still staying up late. Like, I had my eye bags, whatever, you know. And I was like, oh, for real? Like, bro, thank you, man. Like, I appreciate you. Like, I just felt smooth, bro. And people were like, dude, like, can you come, like, hype me up right now? I have to go do this talk. Like, can you come pray for me, hype me up? Like, because I'm feeling off, and you just look like you're chilling. You just look good, bro. And I'm like, I know I don't look good. Like, I'm tired. My hair's everywhere. But, like, I guess they can see, like, the energy.
Aura, your energy.
They can see, like, the energy. And I was like, I felt safe, bro. I felt secure. And I had a week of that, and I was like, damn, I never ever want to leave this. This feels phenomenal. And it wasn't no magic pill, nothing like that. It was a simple rewiring of the brain. There was truths that needed to be reinforced and lies that needed to be broken. And just going through that work, you know, wasn't alone. I did have people to talk it out with and stuff like that. But dude, that was such a huge thing. And I was like, you know, I'm a man of faith, and so I'm like, yeah, I got ADHD. Yeah, maybe there's a little dash of OCD in there, and a little sprinkle of, you know, rage and all that. But I was like, God, like, yeah, I know I got all that. I know the doctor said I got all that. But like, if it's true, like, that you like made humanity and stuff like that, and you care about us, like, then this stuff is not too big for you. It feels too big for me, but I don't have to. It doesn't have to be that way. Like, so kind of like letting go of, I need to manage all this and have it perfect. Just acknowledge, feel it, release. Let it go. Be yourself. Be authentic. That was like where I felt the most breakthrough, man. And so I'm kind of like trying to get back to that, you know, and
it's
have
so
it like
easy to get stuck on stuff.
Sure,
I really
you have your head spin on it, but the moment you let go of it, it's just
that control is an illusion.
Yeah,
it's an illusion, right?
That's funny too, though, how like I feel like self-fulfilling prophecies in movies, you know, where like that's a thing with like control, where like sometimes by being in such a need to be in control, you really lose control.
You lose it all, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
so it's
crazy.
like you're kind of manifesting your biggest fear.
Dude. Oh yeah. Oh man. Last quote, and then I'll zip my lip. Well, for this part.
Yeah.
This guy, man, he says, you don't. Oh, what does he say? He says, whether you know it or not, you live what you believe. Whether you know it or like it or not, you live out your beliefs.
It's like what's in your head and all
by
that.
default, you live out. Yes,
you act upon
your
it.
experience is already by default what you believe. And I'm like, damn, bro. So you telling me that I'm responsible for
how I feel about this?
That I've been going through? Like, how dare you say that to me, bro? Like, you know, watch your mouth when you're talking to me. Like, but I'm like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, the whole thing of like, you're the architect of your own destiny. It's like, you see what you want to see. A lot of the time. Don't get me wrong. Life can come and cut you off from the knees. Like, cut you off at the knees at any time, you know? But like, I feel like you live out your you live out your beliefs, and you're given these things from your experiences in childhood, right? Like, how many of us have seen our parents in our behavior? They're like, oh my God, I'm turning into my dad.
Yeah.
I'm turning into my mom. Like, oh jeez. It's like, I was given to you. You didn't fabricate it somewhere.
Yeah.
And so it's like there's underlying beliefs or roots which turn into fruits. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like the fruits, you got like, don't cut off the fruit and be like, I'm gonna wait for an orange. It's like, no, like, you check the roots. What's at the root of this, you know? And that comes with, like, you know, the inner work.
Self-awareness.
I'm not psyched about that term, but
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, like,
What's wrong with it? I like it.
Find yourself.
I feel like everybody says it. That whole find yourself is just rubbish to me, but I'm open-minded. I'm pretty open-minded.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Okay, so now that we talked about the struggles and the challenges, I want to move on to the positives, the strengths or unique gifts of what ADHD can bring, right? Which can be linked to creativity, humor, problem solving, intuition, passion. I know one of the things people associate with ADHD is hyperfocusing. And it's something that I've noticed within myself, especially when it comes to creative, artistic projects. I can work on something for hours and just like lose track of time, not eat, not take breaks, and just work on whether it's like a painting, you know, just a project, a sculpture of some sort. Like, it's just
Fully invested.
yes, and that's something I really enjoy about myself. You know,
Feels therapeutic.
Yeah, it really does.
Wow.
So, is there any way you guys see where ADHD gives you a unique gift?
Yeah, the hyper focusing. It's funny because one of the few things that could get me to sit still. It's funny I didn't share this last time. My teachers would let me draw in class because that's the only thing that would shut me down.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't walking around. I wasn't talking to anybody. I would just sit there and I was fully enveloped. So I would, because I just hyper focused in drawing. Like I was just thinking about everything, like different ways to draw a hand, what certain postures of characters meant, like body language. Again, like just thinking about different styles and stuff. And then also another thing that I would think of too is I would try to predict my evolution in drawing, because I would constantly be referencing like the progress I had made, like my older drawings to my current drawings. If I practice things like showing vascularity or stuff like that, like I would think like how much, like what will it look like later, what have I come from. But it was an interest. It was a lot more appropriate for that environment, so it kind of worked out for me. But I've had times where I've hyper focused on things that could be considered a massive waste of time. Like I remember my mom one time, I made her sick to her stomach, which was kind of funny to me because I didn't think she would have such a visceral reaction. But she found I had like this walkthrough that I had made of Fallout New Vegas, and I was so interested in it. Like, so in the game, you can either take over New Vegas or you can work for factions and be like their right-hand man. But as you can imagine, the more power you accumulate, the more political the game gets, and eventually you can't be rocking with both sides of, you know, like eventually you're going to have an enemy on a certain side of the fence. And I loved breaking video games at the time and figuring out how you could get, like, for example, unique weapons or fighting moves from all of the factions, and being able to do specific missions that you normally could not do if you did them in a certain order. And so I had like this notebook that was just filled with like color-coded like places, routes, hidden guns, Easter eggs and stuff.
How long did it take you to put that together?
Not as long as you would think. It was crazy. Like because it was something I was interested in, I made it very quickly. And it was easy to like organize things. And I think also the ADHD, like I could contemplate where I even wanted it in the walkthrough compared to like other things in the game, right? Because you can go like with the story consecutively, or you can be like, what's like, I even started thinking, what's the most efficient way to play the game? How can I become the best, the fastest? What stats should I have ranked up so I make the most experience in the most amount of time? What glitches should I do first so I have unlimited money, this and that? How fast I can get a property? And yeah, just because it was an interest I had. And I remember my mom saw it and she goes, man, she's just like, She just goes, imagine if you did that with something that mattered.
Jeez.
She was like, that's Haskell. And she walked away, and she was like, I gave her a headache.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Because she, it's just because there were times that I struggled with at some parts of, school. So for her to see me like doing like a college project on a video game, but I can't write a 2-page paper, she'd be like, make it make sense, like.
Wow. That's crazy, man.
So it looks like that we only really hyper focus on the things that we care about or are
it's
interested
effortless.
in.
Yeah.
It's effortless. Interesting.
That's where it becomes a superpower, where you're like,
Uh-huh.
now you can juggle multiple things and like, work at a higher pace.
Yeah, I feel like I have yet to hone in on that and be like, what's something interesting enough for me to hyper focus on? I feel like my distractibility is very.
No. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
No worries.
I'll just put in these two things. I think athletics are a good example of it.
Oh, 100%.
Maybe not academically, because if I could name anybody that gets to the bottom of figuring something out physically, it's you.
Wow.
You don't give up on layups. You don't give up
That's
on
a good
handles.
example.
You didn't give up on your hard flips.
Oh my gosh, that's true.
And you attacked it from all
Oh,
kinds of
that's
angles.
suck.
I remember
That was
you watching
good
videos
answer.
from different people. You would take advice from people at parks, like,
Oh damn.
and you were
that's-
so good at explaining things. You helped me land a couple tricks.
Wow. Oh snap. That's true, bro. You're right.
You were super technical about it. You were like,
Because I was like, I don't think I've ever done something like that with like a video game or whatever. Like, don't get me wrong, I like video games, but you're right. You're right. I've always been involved in like athletics that like touches back to like the activeness of like how active I was as a boy. Like always playing sports, always doing things like that. I didn't realize that that's what hyper focusing would be. Because I mean I'm still learning. I'm still learning a lot about ADHD. But that's so true.
I would watch you do the same trick for like 30 minutes until you got it. Like,
dude, that's so true. I have a prime example of that. Hard flips. So I loved skateboarding just because it was so, I don't know,
fun,
it was
free.
satisfying to me, bro. Like you have community, you have camaraderie amongst the skaters,
and
like,
everywhere, strangers.
and I loved it because you didn't see black, you didn't see white, you didn't see Asian. It was like,
He's a skater.
oh, I like your board, I like your trucks, like, dude, that's sick, like, was good, like you can land it right now, like, don't bail, like you can land it bolts, whatever, It was like it just connected people, and I loved that. And dude, I remember when my brothers first showed me skateboarding, bro. They were like, yeah, bro, like we'll teach you all the tricks, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh man, like that's gonna be great, like just super hyped, a little kid, And I remember it grabbed my attention more than it did theirs, and I became obsessed. Like
you surpassed them,
dude. And I kid you not, within like a week, I was doing tricks, and they were like, "Let's play skate," and boom, I was wiping the floor with them, and I was just boom, cleaning them out. And dude, I remember they were kind of like annoyed at that. They were like, like, when did you learn that? Like, we just taught you a 180. Like, how you doing a nollie? Like, what's going on?
Next weekend you got a big spin. They're like,
no, seriously, no, you're not, bro. I'm being so serious. And I remember the level, like I guess like the not the ratio, but like the level of interest between them in skateboarding and me with skateboarding. I remember one time they wanted to sit down and watch a movie together, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch it for a little bit. But in my mind was wanting to learn this trick that I saw so bad.
Yeah.
I was in my front yard for 7 hours straight practicing this trick because I was like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to do, like, but I'm gonna try it. And I tried it. Tried it. My feet were sore. I didn't eat. I just drank some water, and boom, I was trying it. Boom, and with the hard flip, the board does a backflip, and it's very risky because you can land on it. Like,
credit card
with your
genitals.
with your groin, you can land on it. And that happened to me, and I was like, oh, all right, let's try again. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, it was like such a pull in my mind. I was so hooked on it that I tried for hours.
Like, I wish there's a better word for like what I'm thinking of right now is like it's almost obsessive.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to have that back because it feels more like determination than obsession. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, totally. And that's what, I don't know. It just did something for my brain, for my dopamine.
Yeah.
It just did something, and I
very
loved
rewarding.
it. And I loved to learn new tricks. And like even now, like if the incident that happened with me, like at gunpoint, didn't happen, I would probably still be skating. you know, I would probably still be getting boards. I still like, I dress like,
Incident? Do you want to share?
I mean,
It was
it
crazy.
doesn't really have to do with
I think you need to
ADHD, but it doesn't really have to do with ADHD,
It's a
but
wild story.
short story long, like the reason I stopped skateboarding, which was, it was my love, man. It was my lover. Like
Wow.
seriously, like
Uh-huh.
it like it was my lover, dude. Seriously, like even now I can look at a trick, I can look at someone doing it, and I know exactly what trick it is. I know what stance they're doing it in. I know.
Wow.
I can know if they're doing it in their regular stance or they're doing it switched.
Yeah.
I just learned it. It was something that I focused so hard on. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and so the reason I had to stop, or I didn't have to, but I was so discouraged at the time. I was 17 years old. I had like one of my first jobs, and there was a park being built in Los Angeles down the street from the place that I worked.
Yeah.
And I was like, perfect. All my favorite skateboarders are gonna be there. Like, it's a brand new park.
Yeah.
Like, this is freaking awesome, you know? So I remember one day I got off of work, and there was gonna be a skate demo. It was a Primitive skate demo. It's a very popular skate brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember bringing my brothers because they still liked to skate, you know?
Yeah.
I was obsessed, but they liked it as well. It was something we could do together.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember coming, and like that demo, you know, Paul Rodriguez, very famous, arguably the godfather of street skateboarding,
Yep.
you know?
Wow.
He was there, he was gonna be there. Primitive is his company. And so he
I
was
don't
gonna
know.
be there, yeah, it's his company. He was gonna be there, and all the people who are on his team, I was like, yo, like obsessed with these guys
Admired them.
skateboarding, like
Yeah.
their skateboarding style and skill. I've watched these guys for hours on end, and I remember getting there, and it was flooded with people, flooded with kids, flooded with, you know, just grown-ups, whatever, just a whole bunch of people.
Mhm.
I remember it was going crazy, like everybody's like, ah. We were like falling.
Getting
They couldn't
rowdy.
even skate. Like the famous people couldn't even skate because there was so many kids surrounding them. They
Crowding
had
them.
no room. And I remember at a demo, one thing that happens is they throw product. They throw
Yeah.
product, you know, to the fans and stuff
Free
like
stuff,
that. They throw
yeah.
shirts. They throw hats.
Sometimes
And-
boards.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I remember seeing this like heavy-set woman laying down on her belly with the camera, just taking pictures of kids in the skate bowl, right? And they were like, we're gonna get ready with the megaphone. We're gonna get ready to throw product. If y'all want to get some shirts, like, and some product, come in the bowl right here. And they were just all hyped, and I was just like, yes, like I'm gonna get in here and get some shirts.
I'm leaving with something.
And so I was like, I have my brand new board that I paid money for. It was a Primitive board, great trucks, great wheels, you know? And I was like, ah, damn, I don't want to have only one hand, I want to have two hands. So I told this lady, I said, hey, like, do you mind watching my board? And she's like, oh, okay, you know, just kept taking pictures. I was like, all right. I go, me and my youngest brother, we're boom, trying to catch shirts. And like, you know, we eventually get them. We wanted to get as much product as we can, you know? We were broke, you know? And so, whatever, we got our stuff. I remember laughing, this is tight, making my way up to where I left my board, and it's gone. And the heavy-set lady with the camera's gone too. And I'm like, no way this old lady stole my board. Like, no way I didn't see her skating away with my board. What's going on here, you know? So basically, I'm like, damn, bro, that sucks. Like, who freaking took my board? Like, the lady was nowhere in sight. And I'm like, damn, that's tough. And I remember calling my friend and being like, my friend Anthony, I had made friends there. I had been working there enough to make friends in the area. And I was like, bro, like, you won't believe it. My board just got stolen. And he's like, bro, hold up. Like, don't, like, lose hope. Because this kid I follow on Instagram, who's a local, he just took a picture and posted it on his story on Instagram at him, with him and a few friends at a park in Silmar, which was like 20-minute drive with like 30 boards, 30 used boards. And he's like, your board might be there. He basically said he just came up on 30 boards. So some dudes came to the demo
And stole
and
boards.
stole boards.
Wow.
And mine was among them. And I'm like, damn, I gotta go see if mine is there, bro. I know that park. I've skated there. And he's like, yeah, go check it out, bro. Like, be careful, because like that's kind of like a ghetto area. It's like
Yeah.
border. It's like Pacoima.
Yeah.
It's like Pacoima, not Silmar. So I go, and my brothers are skating, and I'm like, I'm gonna go see if I spot my board. And then back in those days, I was a bit of a hothead. You know, I
Yeah.
thought somehow, for some reason, I thought I was invincible. You know, but I
Bulletproof.
remember, yeah, bulletproof sometimes. But basically, I go and I walk up. I go past the ledge. I'm by the stairs, and I just see a bunch of boards laid out, and I'm like, like what's going on here? Like, I need to do the old switcheroo, you know, like. And so I go, and the tough thing is that the sun is going down, so I can hardly see the logos on the boards. And I'm like, do I look for mine, or do I just take off
grab
one?
A nice one?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Mine was nice, but I'm like, do I just take one and count, like, take my loss,
Yeah.
But I go, and I'm like, nice boards, bro. And my brothers are just skating, and he's just like, stays quiet. And I'm like, yeah, bro, like, were you at the demo? Like, I asked him something like that. I don't remember exact stuff, like, verbatim, but I basically was, like, questioning him, like, where'd you get all these boards, bro? Like, you skate all these? And the dude was like, his body language and, like, what he was saying was kind of like, I don't like you snooping around. Like, what do you think you're doing, And I just remember it being so dark. And I'm just like, bro, like, I think you took my board, bro. Like, and I'm here for my board. He's like, I didn't take shit. And I'm like, bro, like, my board's missing. If you were at the demo, like,
2 + 2
and
= 4.
it was like we were just going back and forth, and I just remember him going, like, pulling up his shirt and being like, I didn't take shit. And I just see, like, the butt of, like, a pistol.
Yeah, the handle.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
see, like, the handle of a pistol, and I was just like, you're right. I don't even skate.
You're like,
I'm out of here.
I was mistaken.
I was like, what is that even? I don't even know what that is. Like, what is this contraption? A plank with wheels, like, you know what I'm saying? I said something of the like, and I was just like, well, that's that. And that just kind of, like, bummed me out so hard that I was like, damn, like, I don't even want to skate no more. Like, I barely skated that board.
Yeah.
Like, I was in love with the community, with what it did for me. Like, it just opened doors for friendships and stuff like that. And
people were so friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish you could have
Yeah.
experienced that.
Aw.
It didn't matter where we went. We could be in North Hollywood, Van Nuys,
Yeah.
Dominic, Missouri. Like,
Yeah.
you would just go and somebody'd be like, oh, I like that brand, whether it be Plan B, Primitive Girl, stuff
That's
like that.
cool.
Or, oh, what bearings do you have? Remember, everybody always wanted the Bone Swisses?
Yeah.
Because they lasted forever and they were just butter.
Yeah.
And, yeah, people were like, I remember I
so
made a lot of
cool.
friends from it. Like, you could literally be in a bad part of town, and like somebody will see you skating, and they'll just come and talk to you, and you'll skate a little spot, stairs, a curb, and
Yeah.
and you'd be surprised. You end up like taking people's social
Aw.
media down or numbers, and
Yeah.
Is it too late to get back into it?
See,
in my current physical state, I am at a much higher risk for injury.
Oh.
So
so I was
there's
gonna,
that part
I was
to
literally
consider.
gonna say that. I was gonna say, well, the way our knees are set up, I still.
Amazon
I feel like
already
I still,
took one of mine.
Yeah. I feel like we still could, but I feel like the juice is not worth the squeeze now. Because for me, part of the motivation was like, we were kind of poor, and so like for me, it was like, damn, like I'll skate for free as long as they give me free boards and shoes and clothes.
Oh wow.
Like they
Sponsorships.
tell me, hey, like John, like we're going to Spain. You're gonna get this demo. Like I got like 2 decks ready for you, and like a few pairs of Nikes ready for you, and some clothes, some new merch that we just got.
Wow.
Go. You're playing to Spain. Like I would do it for free if that was the case.
Yeah.
Well, it's technically not for free, but I would do it for merch.
Without a
That
specific
was what
page,
my
yeah.
dream was. I was like, I didn't know that you can make money. And then even later on, when I found out the salary of like the average famous skater, I was like, I don't know if I like that. I don't
Not
know if
that
I like
much.
blowing out my knees and then making that. Like you had to be a contest skater
Even
to
the
make good
best
money.
guys had horrible slams.
Really?
Like what? Like you remember that guy that was Asian? What was he? Filipino? Remember when he bashed his head in on the cement stairs?
I can't remember which guy it is.
I think he was in Emerica. He was an Emerica skater.
Oh.
Remember?
Okay.
He did like
Uh-huh.
a 16 stair, and when he fell, it threw his head out.
Yeah,
so he
yeah.
literally slid headfirst into like a
Yep.
like
Oh
a
my
concrete
goodness.
curb.
Yep.
And when he slammed, his head just went one way, like it
Oh my
like he
goodness.
deflected off the wall.
Yeah.
And I remember he was just like, what the fuck? And he was like out of it, just holding his head. And like, they were really worried. They were going to take him to like the hospital.
Yeah.
And then he just like pounds a monster and lands it. Like,
Yeah. No,
That's
literally.
crazy.
Yeah.
Nigel Houston, I've seen him smash his nuts on rails, his jaw fall downstairs. And they just go for it again.
Yeah, but touching
I
on
don't
just, like,
have that love anymore in me.
Yeah, exactly. I was
If
gonna
I
say
slam
that.
my nuts or my
Yeah.
back, I'm going to be pissed.
I was gonna say that we have like one go at life, or at least I believe that. Like,
Yeah.
no shade to anybody who believes in reincarnation and all that, but like I feel like we have one go, and I've had plenty of injuries. Like I've rolled my ankle countless times. Like I've just busted my head. Like I still have scars everywhere. So it's like I feel like the juice is not worth the squeeze. It's not worth it anymore. For fun, yes, but I won't do any like that's the thing about me. I don't know why. It's not worth it enough for me if I'm not freaking enjoying it. Like even in video games, it's like I'm like it's not rewarding enough for me. And that's where I like just learning about the whole dopamine thing with ADHD. It's like it makes sense. I'm like, no, it's just not rewarding for me. Like I enjoy it. I still dress like it. Like I see people, I'm like, oh, I know that trick.
Yeah.
Yep, I used to do that. Oh man, I almost landed that one time. Like the love is still there, but just not enough to dive deep into it. And when I do something and I hyper focus on it, I'm going to freaking do it, and I'm going to do it good. And that's just the way my brain works. Like
you don't like to half-ass your interests.
Exactly. And sometimes I get shade thrown at me. I feel like you're not happy unless you're just mopping the floor with somebody, you know. And I'm just like, I guess.
Well, because like when we were younger, I feel like you wanted more than just flat ground skating. You wanted to like bomb some stairs and like
I wanted everything.
Yeah,
I wanted it all.
Like you would see something crazy and you'd be like, I want to top that. Like,
yeah. So I don't think. Yeah, I think the love is there, but not enough to pick it back up again the way we did.
Because at that age, we had the ambition, we had the determination. Like you remember me eating it, and I would just get back up and like, dude, you would fall hard.
Yeah.
Like I've scorpioned moving on the road before till it flipped me over because the momentum was so much, and you hear your back crack and you're like, did something happen? And then you get back up and you're fine because you're made of rubber in those days. But I remember cracking my back, like literally my jaw's on the floor and my ass is over my head, and my back's just like, ooh, hard U-turn, and I'm just like, oh, you know, like, whoa, that noise was scary.
Dude, yeah. Well, thanks for bringing that up, because I was like, I don't know if I've got the hang of the hyper-focus thing, but I didn't even realize that could be considered.
Because of my example, like, you've never been that committed to video games, not to that degree. And me, I'm so into that aspect of creative things. Like, I've always wanted to make a video game, or I've always been impressed by when people, like, any way of delivering a story, whether it be told or like a movie, right? Like the angle of the camera, the people they use to have in the film, you know, like the energy of a scene, everything, you know, everything's an intention, and it's like surface level manipulation is a good delivery, right? Like you want people to receive you well, you want to speak a certain way to get a certain reaction.
For sure.
And also, I'm really into collecting things, oddly enough. So in a game, I had like a real like completionist mentality. Like I wanted all the rare guns, I wanted all the fits, I wanted to have done all the special missions. And to some people, it seems dumb. Like even Red Dead Redemption, you'll see me gamble on there, and I bet you it probably seems stupid to you that I'm gambling in a video game. But to me, I'm getting like an achievement, or I'm getting something for like an outfit. And it just, I don't know, it I guess it's maybe like a sense of control or something to have that. I wonder. Like everything's done, nothing's wrong. Like,
yeah, you should explore that. I mean, yeah, you should continue to explore that, because I have found that very interesting about you, that you're like, and you like show it to me, you're like, bro, like check out this like
look, I got
cufflink that I got, or whatever. It's like,
I had to do this mission to get
and
that.
this, and then you're like, this is the lore behind it, and it's like legend says that like this is the way it is, and blah blah blah, right? Like I'm obviously being facetious, but for me, like, for example, God of War, you're like, bro, look at that. You could be like the cool-ass God of War from Sparta. And I'm like, that is kind of cool. I want to kill this beast and get to the end of the game. And, like any game like that, Batman, God of War, I'm, like, less interested in, like, the cosmetics and more interested in getting the shit done and being, like, the badass who destroys Odin, you know? So
you want to get to that fight.
Exactly. So it's like, it's very fascinating to see the different
and
levels on the spectrum.
I don't want to leave that territory until there's nothing left to be done.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've noticed that about you. You always do like the Easter eggs, the secret shit. Like for Batman, you wanted to do like a lot of the riddle puzzles.
Yeah,
that motivates you. Yeah. And I'm just like, that's super interesting. Like,
but I don't know why that's rewarding, because some people, for some people, they're like, who fucking cares? You know what I mean? And I'm over here like, well, at least I know I did it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
That's phenomenal.
Maybe also I have a lot of antisocial tendencies.
Okay.
So maybe that's like satisfying busy work. I don't know.
It takes you into another world, probably. Like you're just like, like it makes you feel accomplished. You know, in the isolated in isolation. It's like you're accomplished. You're like achieving something in isolation. It's like I don't know. I feel like you're kind of like.
But it's so rewarding to me.
Yeah,
it's
that's
absurd.
what I'm.
Like when you guys
I
are like,
wouldn't
you
say it's
don't care.
absurd.
I'm like, not even a little. You know what I mean? Like,
I wouldn't say it's absurd though. Like, don't if it means something to you. I don't think
Yeah.
it's absurd. Bro.
right. No, I don't mean it like in that sort of a way. But I just mean like it feels that way sometimes. You
Fair
know,
enough.
like surface
Fair enough.
level.
But that's what your brain is asking for. That's fascinating to me.
And I always like things with like lore and stuff. That's why even as a
Mhm.
kid, I love talking to old people.
Fascinating.
Like I'd rather have like a watch that made it through the Second World War than
Mhm.
like a Rolex. Because I could be like, hey,
There's history.
he kept this even when he was a prisoner of war. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? Like
mhm.
his grandma gave that to him or
Wow,
whatever. You know?
Wow. Yeah. Wow, that's so cool.
You also know lots of interesting facts about like movies and the actors and what they had to do to play the role. It's
Because
so
I find it
interesting,
fascinating, like
yeah.
method acting and all that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
Speaking of which, one of my favorite things that I've told you guys that I found super fascinating because people often get impressed by an accomplishment, but it almost feels like incomplete their appreciation because they often don't understand like the full aspect of it or the severity of it. And one of those would be, from what I remember of Marlon Brando's method to method acting is he was a very passionate actor. Like in some of his first movies, you could see like forehead veins, and he's like screaming. And
Oh yeah.
and back then, people were very stylized, and I wouldn't do this, and you know. And then here he comes in, and he's like, "What's your problem?" And they're like, "Whoa," you know.
Yeah.
But he said that everybody loved watching him show passion, but they didn't realize that he had to go to really dark places to access such extreme emotions. So like he was like, you take yourself apart. He goes, I would have a scene where I had to be furious, and I would think about my father beating my mother. And he's like, I do the scene, everybody loves it, but then I'm the one that goes home and drinks because now that's on my mind for the rest of the day. It doesn't just go away when they yell cut, you know, whatever he had to do to access those emotions. So it's like, it's interesting, you know, because like a lot of people don't speak about stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're moving on to tools. Back to ADHD. We're gonna move on to like tools that help us cope through life, and, like with our struggles and how we've grown, right? So, what are some things that help you, you know, with routine, get through work, through things you gotta get done? For me, I have like a whiteboard on my wall, so I can physically see what it is I have to get done every day. You know, a calendar helps too. Writing down my appointments, what I have to get done. Yeah, what kind of structure is like best for you guys? Makes it easier to do life.
Structure is an interesting word. 'Cause
What do you mean?
I don't know if I got that, you know.
Yeah.
But I'd say that. So I too have a whiteboard,
Yeah,
but it doesn't work for me.
yeah.
It's for decoration, pretty much.
I've tried it too.
I've tried it, and the same stuff just sits there, and then it, you know, on those boards, those expo boards, you write something and you leave it on there long enough, it won't come off. That's the case with mine, you know. So as far as like structure and stuff, I'm still working on that. But some of the tools that have really helped me is like eliminating, saying no, and eliminating things.
Distractions.
Because one thing that I think hasn't always been emphasized with ADHD is that it's not a lack of focus problem. It's an overstimulation problem. It's there's too many things to focus on. And so it's like you're being pulled in multiple directions. It's like until you finally break down, you know? And so for me, I've put that into practice. I've like taken that concept and put it into practice and cut things, limited things, and it's been tremendous. It's been tremendous. A simple example is apps that I don't really need to use. Like for example, Instagram or Facebook Marketplace.
Why are you on Facebook Marketplace?
He's a businessman.
You know, and that's another thing with ADHD. I feel like what I've heard, is, you know, I don't have like the facts in front of me, but what I've heard is that some people with ADHD tend to be more like naturally entrepreneurial, and I identify with that ever since I was a kid. You know, I had like a business trading toys. I would like trade toys and stuff like that. I think in like the second grade, I remember meeting up with one of my best friends named Caesar at the time, and I remember he had told me, you know, what toys he had. I told him what toys I had. I had wrestlers somehow, and he had this little, these little soldiers, or
The main character
Yeah.
from Small Soldiers.
Oh yeah. So Small Soldiers, it was like the main character. It was like that animal.
He's like a bulldog head.
Yeah, he's like a bulldog head. And I was so fascinated by that movie. I really liked G.I. Joes and soldiers and stuff like that. And I remember one day we just decided we were gonna make a swap, and it just felt like a shady deal. Like, we weren't doing anything crazy, but it was like, that was like the beginnings of my entrepreneurial journey, And so I remember doing the deal and bartering, and well, no, like, that guy has more muscles, so like, I
Look
just
how
kinda
big
wanted
this one
yeah,
is.
I
It's
remember
worth 2 at least.
exactly. So I remember doing that specifically, trading him 2 wrestlers that were like mediocre in my eyes, but I was even using psychological tactics to make it seem like the product was super good to him, and he was just like,
You
okay.
need this.
Here you go, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like what happens now in consumerism. But where was I? Oh yeah, so like the tools basically, right? Eliminating apps for me on my home screen.
Yeah.
I realized I had an issue with just overstimulation and like getting small dopamine hits from my phone when I was on Facebook Marketplace one day, and I remember like, I'm not seeing anything interesting in my area. Boom, I swiped up, swiped out. 10 seconds later, I go back and I do it and I do it again, and I'm like,
Without even realizing
yeah,
it,
and I
right?
was like, what the heck am I doing on Facebook? I am seeing the same crap. Like, this is a problem, And so recently, what I found this guy. He made a very simple course for people with ADHD. I think he does something for NASA. He's like some type of engineer for NASA, and he's like, I created this course to help people. I designed it exactly for ADHD people. It's short content, take action. Short content, take action. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it. And so he's like, lifetime guarantee. It's only $50, and if you come in like 50 years and say you want a refund, I'll give you a refund. He's like, I don't care, because I know, like, I designed it for our type of brain. So he's like, I know this will work, and even if you just feel like you just don't want to do it at this time, I'll give you a refund, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I can rock with that. I can rock with that. And so I did it, and one of the first assignment was basically to minimize what's on your home screen.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to delete, but remove it from what you see immediately.
Yeah.
Because there's visual cues, right? That's how our brains work, right? We see, we smell, like, they're all like avenues
It's in marketing.
to how you behave.
That's why they put 16 Cheez-Its on a box, because when they studied the 2 Cheez-Its on the cover versus the 16, people ate less when they saw less.
You see? Yeah. So that's a perfect example. And so, like, in this instance, I was like, all right, I don't have to get rid of my marketplace.
Yeah.
But what I can do is, he's like, just remove it from the home screen. Eliminate what you see. Eliminate the choices.
Yeah.
The multiplicity of choices. Like, minimize it. And I was like, okay, boom. Remove from home Instagram. All I have there is like my calendar, what needs to get done that day, my photos and texts. And dude, like, it was almost like in 24 hours, like shut it off in my brain. I didn't go on Marketplace. Like, it was nuts. It was nuts. I was like, wow, that's so crazy. Like, this, in a matter of hours, seemed to be a huge tool with, which, like, my discipline couldn't accomplish that, but this simple switch was able to help me accomplish that, so that's just one of the tools that has been super helpful for me. I have a list that's as long as the hills, man. Like, it's a huge list, and I do get things done on it, but there's got to be a better way to do it. But I still would consider it a tool, because it does help me keep things like relevant, kind of structured.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I cannot keep it all in my brain. Like, I have to write things down. So like the Notes app and like the little bullet points that's like my go-to at the moment. Yeah, those are just two simple tools that I've used recently.
I like how you said, like, the guy makes the course fast. Like, here it is, this is what you do. Whenever I have to, like, fix something around the house and I have to pull up a YouTube video, I hate how long they take to just
they beat around the bush, or they act like you're stopping by to say hello, and it's like, I want answers, brother.
Exactly.
If you could have a 30-second video, that'd be tight.
And then the ads, then they hit you with the ads. No, bro. Like,
and it's like, if they don't give you the answer you're looking for, now you're gonna watch another video.
They'll like talk forever, and the visual part, they're like, that's it, and you're like, no, that's where you need a lag. Like, I want you to
straight up. good luck. Like,
they'll say it 10 different ways and show you half of one.
Dude, oh Lord.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But another way that helps me is having a specific location to sit down
I
and
like that.
work. Then you kind of
Man.
condition yourself whenever you sit down at what used to be my computer desk, right? Every time I sat down, now I knew my brain knew I have to get work done.
This is what we do
This is
here.
all I'm doing here is
man,
getting work
yeah,
done.
yeah.
You know, and it started to work. I like that.
That's fantastic.
Mhm.
I just have yet to like try that one. I've
Yeah,
tried
me
it
too.
and I've seen it work, but I'm like, it's kind of hard. Like, I don't know. It's kind of hard. Like where I currently live. Like it's like a normal sized room. You know, it's giving me an idea because I have like kind of like a walk-in closet. I can kind of just like maybe have that little corner, and it's perfect because it has like little hanging lights that I can like adjust and stuff like that. Maybe I can. I think I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that one and try and designate that only for like getting work done, because I'm like right now I have a beanbag, you know, and that's like relaxing. But then like 2 feet away, there's like a chair with like a lamp that I can use for reading, and then it's like where I place the beanbag, I have a monitor, I have like my books, I have like what I need to get done, and then I also have food, and it's like
Too much of everything.
it's too much for my
Yeah.
brain to decide, what are we doing today?
And
And
this-
naturally, with the ADHD brain, there being dopamine dysregulation, it's naturally going to want to push me in the direction of what gives me the most dopamine
stimulation immediately.
the quickest.
Yeah.
And that's going to be what? Video games while eating. So naturally, when we play video
games while
games,
eating.
video games, you're going to hear me. He's down, bro. Bro, I hit him for 99. Like, you know, get him. Like, you're going to hear a
We'll be
lot of
playing
that.
Fortnite and you'll just hear him be like, and we'll be like, it's good, huh? And he's like, you know it.
It's like I'll get knocked and I'll be like, don't worry about resing me. Like,
Yeah,
I've
he's
been
like, don't worry
there.
about
I
me
need
right
time
now.
for a few more bites. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it's like the stuff that needs to get done
Yeah.
is right there, just looking at me like, come on, big fella, like.
Like that burnt
And then
piece
I
of
make
cheese in the
you know-
oven.
You know what I'm saying? And then I think I'm like, well, I'm having a good night and a good game. I'll catch you tomorrow, you know? And it's like tomorrow never comes. It
Yeah.
only comes when there's so much pressure. Like
Yeah.
it's due yesterday. You need to get it done. And so that's another thing. Like the pressure of things motivating you. But like
yeah.
doing things early, it's like I had a relationship where it was like I admired that about her. Like she got an assignment that same day she got home. There was no
Did it.
relaxation. She's like, yeah, I'm done with my rough draft. I'm about to do my final draft. And I'm like, didn't you
You
say
have
it
a
was
week.
due in 2
Yeah.
weeks?
Wow.
She's like, yeah, but I want to relax the rest of the 2 weeks. And I'm like, damn, you can
Instead
do
of
that?
dreading doing it, instead of putting it off and always having it over
Literally.
your
Back of your
head.
head. Yeah.
Literally. Like, and I admired that so much about her. And I mean, like, I wanted to do that so bad. I was like, how you do that? Like, show me how you do it. We're like, show me the secret. And she's like, I just do it. I'm like, how does your brain work that way? Like, and she couldn't understand why I couldn't. And I was like, how do you do? Like, how do you do that? And so that was troublesome to me. But, yeah, like, if I can just have a switch where I can just do that, like, I feel like life would be a lot smoother, you know?
I
But-
still struggle with more personal procrastination. I've been able to figure it out a little better at work and stuff like that. But like cleaning,
Ooh.
instead of doing like minor cleaning constantly, like constant maintenance, sometimes I'll let stuff get out of hand and then I'll just have like a day of like deep cleaning where like I'm taking all my clothes and washing it, whatever's in drawers, I
Oh,
pull it
man.
out, wipe the drawer down, fold
Yep.
it, put it back in,
Spring cleaning, baby.
clean like the, you know, the blades on the fan, like
yeah.
vacuum like 3 times, wash my bed, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it's not as sustainable, you know?
Dude. And does it last? I feel like it doesn't last. It's like
You'll have like a good week out of it, and then before you know it, it's the same room again.
Twister came through. Huh?
But I will say that I have figured out a way to like tackle more tedious or, you know, things that don't interest me as much. For example, like delivering at Amazon, if I had like 145 stops, 189 stops on a heavier day, instead of thinking like, oh, I'm at 12 out of 189, that would drive me nuts. You know,
That is
you check
good.
back in and, oh, we're in stop 15 now. And it's like, instead I came up with a trick where I would do things by either an hour or even smaller increments of time, like 15 minutes, like a quarter of an hour.
Like time blocking almost?
So I'd be like, if I want to have 30 or 35 stops done in an hour, then that translates to this many in a quarter or this many in a half. And then you're not looking at like the great distance of like 189 stops. Right now, all that matters for the next 10 to 15 minutes is whatever, 7 to 12 stops.
Yeah. Oh man.
And because it's like 10-minute increments or 15-minute increments, and a stop might take you a minute and a half or 2 minutes. Now you're going like you're like present. You're like going constantly by that, and it doesn't feel like a dredge, and time flies. Like the best example I could come up with the other day about it was, imagine if you're like a great distance out, like maybe a mile is exaggerating, but imagine you're a mile out from shore, right? And every couple of strokes you look up, it feels like you're never going to get there, right?
Yeah.
But if you do increments of it and you go into a groove and you stop focusing on that and you just keep, going, by the time you look up, you'll be surprised how much closer you are every time, It'll feel like you're already there. Yeah. So that's helped me being able to break things down that, like, for me feel like heavy,
Yeah.
Like stuff that's like a drag.
That's awesome. That sounds like a useful tool. Something that it's definitely easier said than done, and I know it might be kind of cliche, but it's like just get started.
Well, because it's like everything that we've said has worked for somebody, but it not working for us or us not having tried it yet. That's like the hard part. Is like you said, just put one foot in front of the other. And
just do it ugly, do it messy, do it ugly, and it's like I feel like the way my brain works. I don't know if you guys can relate with this, but I feel like I need to have every piece in place, and it's a control thing. I feel like too, like I feel like it's all intertwined, but I feel like I need to have the majority like in place, and then I can take the step. When it's like I feel like being a man of faith, it's kind of like an oxymoron, because I'm like my behavior was different than like what I believed, and I'm like faith means taking the next step. Actions. Even when you don't see the next stair, like on a staircase, you don't see where the steps are going, you still take the step even if you don't see where you're gonna land. And it's like that's been so huge for me, just getting started, because it's like the fear of getting started and messing up, like it fizzles out when I just do it messy, because it's like it starts to come together. And I'm like, oh wait, that's easy, and then I start to enjoy it, because I'm like, oh, like the fearful part is already done away with. It wasn't something I needed to be scared of. Once I get that initial step like done, it's like it just unfolds and it just becomes a freaking game, and so it's simple yet cliche and way easier said than done, but like just getting started. You have a paper, write what's in your head. Don't think like, oh, it needs to sound this. Just be like and then you'll see something. It's like something sprouts from that, and it just grows quickly, and then you get into a groove, and then you can hyper focus, and then before you know it, 6 pages are done. Maybe some of it's rubbish, but whatever, like you got something on the paper, and then the refining process begins, right? So
it's been one of my biggest struggles, because like I would think, okay, from this time to this time I'll do this, right? I'll study, I'll write a paper, and then I would always find a way to like disrespect the timeline, or like,
dude, yes,
like something, a phone call, video games. I'm just like, one more game,
YouTube short,
and then your phone, and then before you know it, you're like, I killed an hour of my study time. I should really like respect this time, and like so I should just do that tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like I already shot today. I'll do it tomorrow, and I'll just relax hard right now, and then tomorrow extra discipline. And it's like,
that reminds me of the quote that you're not stressed because you have a lot to do. You're stressed because you're not doing enough.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yep, that sounds like the truth.
But back to breaking big tasks into little ones. I don't know if you guys experience this when like cleaning your room, and then you just like find something like, oh, I forgot about this one thing, and then you start messing with it. Next thing you know, you're Lord. 3 hours of not cleaning your room.
Yes.
Dude, holy moly.
I'll play another game before I get to it, or
you have a movie
John
in the
called
background.
me. I don't want to be rude. Cleaning on the phone.
You have like a movie playing on in the background. You're actually paying attention now.
And it's the most ridiculous, because I'll intentionally be like, what is the lamest shit I can find, and I'll put it on. And when it comes to anything I don't want to do, that becomes fascinating. Like, it could be the dumbest movie ever, and I'm like, it's better than cleaning the toilet. You know? And it's like, now I'm invested, and like...
But what I've done to like help break it down, I've actually physically wrote down a list of what to clean in my room, like sweep, mop, fold laundry.
The list has helped me with chores, though, because then it feels like the pace of accomplishment is better, because then I can check it off. I'll be like, oh, I cleaned the mirrors in my bathroom, the sink's done, now, you know.
But another thing that's been helping me that I learned from Atomic Habits, like the book that I read on habits, is you know how you said, oh, your room gets messy like really quick days later, right? Yeah. So like you gotta reverse some of the bad habits that you've had. Like if you ate in your room, put the plate
immediately
away right away.
If
don't
let it pile.
Don't like throw your clothes on the floor after you finish wearing them.
And it's so satisfying that that's where it fell.
Yeah, so that's something that I started implementing, and I feel like
it's like a vanquished enemy here. Like, here lies my uniform.
So that's something that you've been able to implement that.
Yeah, and I feel like it's made a smoother process of having a cleaner room, more organized. Yeah, just fight the thought of like.
I feel like you're pretty determined with most of the things you do.
Yeah,
like
I've
whenever
gotten
I
a lot
see
better
you,
over the years.
Like I'll see you talk about something, whether it be like the bathroom or whatever. Like maybe you want to do a deep cleaning. And then you'll just be at it. Like sometimes, you can get caught up with like minor distractions, but I feel like you've been really good about it.
I know it's
lately.
weird, but I feel like I can hyper focus on cleaning too. Like it's satisfying of seeing like a before and after. Like I'll like stand there and be like, man, it looks good in here.
Yeah.
Wow. Right now, something that just crossed my mind is how influential environment is to these behaviors.
Yeah.
And I was comparing between my home in Oregon. I'm alone, and then over here, like I have my family, and it's like their minds are on display in their environment.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Remember how I was saying that you live out your beliefs, whether you like it or not?
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like the room, your sanctuary, your dwelling place, your dojo, whatever you want to call it, is a manifestation of what's going on in here. And there's science behind that.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, when I come here, like there's like some clutter here in my mom's house and stuff like that, and like that's that's her, all the stuff she has to deal with on display, right? And then I come here and I'm thinking like, how does that affect me mentally? And like being over there, I'm cultivating these types of habits, like putting my clothes away instead of like just letting it sit there, like vacuuming. I shave every single day, and I have this little vacuum, and it's so satisfying. I get my little, and I'm vacuuming, I'm just like, like it's all cleaned up, and I come over here, and it's like, I'm like, I see like things here, things there, like clutter, and I'm just like, my brain is like going nuts. Like I feel like myself getting like, ooh, what's going on? Like, and I feel like that environment rubs off on me to adopt those habits.
For
it's
sure.
easier to just let go, and I'm overwhelmed with the multiplicity of things to look at, not even necessarily to deal with, and my brain has the desire to put in order, boom boom boom, to put, and it's like I'll get exhausted because I'm like, oh my goodness, it's back to where it was now. Now it's messy again, and I'm just like, too much to decide from, too overstimulated, and then I get exhausted, and I'm just like, dude, environment, like people's environment, it rubs off on you. And I was just thinking that
people say it in different ways,
and I feel like I go back and I like recover. I have to like recover and like rewire again, and I'm like, okay, I'm in my dojo now.
Yeah.
It's a drag on you if your room's messy. I feel like it fucks with. I mean, it messes with the way you think, and it's like depressing. Like I've noticed, I'll feel like an odd peace when I deep clean my room.
Yeah.
Like something that was wrong in the world.
Well, I have heard
right.
before, like clean room, clean mind.
I believe that 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Some
That's
of the worst
perfect
I've felt, I'm like, I'm living like this. Like I'll look at my room sometimes and be like, let it get too far.
Yeah, man, that's so crazy.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on to. You guys think it's important to have like relationships or friendships that are also that with people who also have ADHD?
I think it's right? Absolutely. I feel like going back to like one of the aspects of like rejection and all that, and being judged for being different. I feel like you have more empathy,
Mm-hmm.
or there might be a connection with having more empathy and having ADHD, because your mind can go at such a high velocity that you have like the possibility of experiencing things or looking at things through a certain angle are more often because of how fast your brain's going. And that also allows itself for like a variation of expression, so you feel more comfortable with people that are neurodivergent if you are neurodivergent, because then you guys, like, nothing's weird, you know, and it's almost fun to see how they're different, you know, whether it be like a strong laugh or like the way they end their sentences, if they
How
have like a
animated
physical
they
tick.
are.
Yeah. Yeah, and then some people pronounce certain words a certain way, you know, and I've learned to like love and enjoy that for people, you know, like so I think it's very important in that sense, because you feel more comfortable, you feel more safe. I would say it's funny because I wanted to kind of argue the other side of that, or just to be open to the other side of that. But now that I think about it, I think all my best friends are neurodivergents.
Interesting.
I want to say William's on the spectrum. I'm not saying like,
Yeah.
or I don't know. He's just so different from other people that
Yeah,
it makes
he
me
is.
believe that something is different about him in that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
But not in any way that would, like, in any capacity that would hold him back or anything
Yeah.
like that. I just feel like he's so unique in the way he expresses himself, you know? But yeah, I would say, like, Kobe, you guys, like, I would say most of my friends are, my best of friends, the ones that I feel the most comfortable with, are neurodivergent, and we have very, like, unique ways of expressing things. Like, have you noticed a lot of guy friends don't talk to each other the way that we talk to each other?
100%.
Yeah.
Like, anything,
100%.
and, like, and then what I love about it is that, like, we've been on the same page, you know what I mean? Like, whether it may be something like saying, like, I love you, you know, when we, like, say goodbye to each other, things like that, or physical contact, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are afraid of being shamed for the way they express themselves, and we're very handsy. Like, we'll give each other noogies and, you know, whatever, pinch each other, tackle each other, and to us, it's just us showing affection, where somebody else might, like, get too stuck on, you know. Also, like, know your audience. I'm not going to tackle him at church, you know what I mean? But, like, but yeah, I feel like just the freedom to express yourself and not be judged. And even when something is kind of weird and embarrassing, like, it's a safe space so you can laugh together about it, you know what I mean? Instead of being like, did I just change the way they look at me, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're in the presence of people who understand. You know, you're like, you're seen.
And it won't be held against you.
You're seen, not criticized. And like, you can be seen, right? And like, with like people who are not neurodivergent, but it will be like in a judgmental way, or a way of like ridicule, you know? It could be. I'm not saying all the time. But like, people with ADHD, I feel like, yeah, like you said, there's more empathy, there's more compassion towards the behavior. It's not just a stamp of you're lazy. It's like, oh, like this dude is like, his social battery's burnt out. Like, this dude's been, you know, paying attention to all these people, hosting, It's like, they don't just put a stamp of like, oh, you're a loser, or you're a deadbeat, or you just don't love me, or you just don't pay attention, or whatever. Like, it's like people who, you're in the presence of people who understand the concepts and will give you grace. And that's, like you said, it's a safe space to be. You put it very well.
I think it's because we've lived similar experiences.
Had our shamed moments.
Scolded, self-criticism, you know, and I think that's where the understanding comes in.
Yeah.
So.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're totally right. And so, like, touching on like we touched on friendships, but like, I also think that it's critical, not just like, you know, good. I think it's critical to have a partner who, at the very least, they don't need to be neurodivergent, but at the very least, who's open-minded to understanding and helping you. Because, I mean, I don't really like blanket statements and blanket methods and all that, but I will say this: you will need help. You will need support from a partner. You know, you will need support in general, but in the context of romantic relationships, you will need help if you have neurodivergence. Because if you have someone who isn't on the spectrum and you are, there's going to be things that, like, it's going to clash. It's just going to clash, right? Like, you might not show up on time, or, you know, you might not say I love you enough, or whatever it looks like. There's going to be clash. And to have somebody who can forgive quickly, who's open to understanding ADHD, not just from the standpoint of, oh, that's a very interesting, mental, not mental condition, but that's like a very interesting fact about the brain, about your brain. Instead of just like learning about it, how can I mesh? How can I mesh into this person's life in a constructive way?
Yeah.
Like to build them up. Because what I've personally experienced is like, why can't you just say it? Or why can't you just do it? And like, I don't understand how many times I have to tell you. And it's like, to me, it's like, it's a burden. It's been a burden in my romantic relationships, because it's like, the dopamine's there, right? Like, if things are fresh, the novelty's there, like, oh my goodness, like honeymoon phase type thing, and it's like, that's where my brain can hyperfocus, because the dopamine is getting not just a slow drip, it's getting an easy flow of dopamine. And so it kind of sucks, because it's like, because of the lack of dopamine, I feel like you sabotage. I like sabotage myself, like not meaning to, because you train the romantic partner with like love and affection because the dopamine's there. But because of that dopamine factor, over time, it's not as exciting, right? Okay. It's not as like the novelty is not there. And then what I've experienced is that they're like, well, you've changed. Why are you different? Why are you different? Like, you're not saying it anymore. What did
Chris, what's his name, the comedian?
Chris Tucker.
He's like, you're doing your representative.
That's a representative.
That's so crazy. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But no, that's what I've experienced. And then I'm like scolded because I'm different now, and I don't say it enough, and I don't get flowers enough, and blah blah blah, right? Whatever it looks like. And I'm just like, damn, like no, like I still love this person, but like the I think of like the dopamine factor, and I'm like, I'm kind of like, that is making me sabotage my relationship. And it's sad, because I haven't experienced a partner who's like
more understanding,
is willing to get immersed in it to help me.
Right, they might care to hear about it, but to be actively involved in it.
The closest they've gotten to that is, oh well, I understand, like I forgive you, but like pick the shit up next time. Pick up the slap next time. Like, I've told you 20 times, so you should know by now. Wow. When in reality,
and you're over here like, oh sure, it's only been a problem my whole life.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
but I'll figure it out for you in the summer.
You feel me? It's like, sure, like all my teachers and my mom and my have been telling me
they
that.
Didn't know what they were talking about.
Yeah. So it's like,
you've got the answers
now because you kissed me. Like, it's gonna fix it. Like, if that's enough motivation for me to switch. Like, no, bro. And that's what people don't understand. That's what a lot of people, I feel like, in romantic relationships don't understand. And I had to learn this trial by fire, my friend. Like, that's what it is. And so I think it's crucial. I know some people make it work, right? Like, I'm not saying, it can't be done. But just with my personal experience, I feel like I need somebody at least to be understanding. And when I've gotten scolded and like forgiven, I'm like, well, I had no intention on doing what you're saying you've experienced from my actions. I had no intention of doing that, but I'm sorry. And like, they've forgiven me, and I'd be like, I'm sorry. It's not. I know it's not the first time, and it's probably not going to be the last. And that's like such a trigger in my experience. They're like, so you're gonna plan to do this?
Yeah, that's how they take it.
I'm just like, like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, my track record shows that like
it will happen again.
It most likely will happen again, but like unintentionally. Like, my heart is in the right place, but like my brain is doing something different, So I would say, yes, it is critical to have somebody at the very least understanding of like what you go through.
Yeah.
And just willing to build you up. That's so needed, man. Like, so needed. But
I know one thing I struggled with in my past relationship is like paying attention to what they're saying.
Oh yeah.
And it's like I've gotten like scolded and like them being upset over that, and it's like, I don't do it on purpose. It's like my mind is scattered, Sure. And sometimes I don't, and it's harsh, but I don't care what you're talking about.
That's crazy.
And it's like, so, but I do try, You know, I started to like trying to like be in the present moment, and that's where like meditation comes in, other, you know, natural supplements, remedies, whatever you want to look into to help you. But yeah, so, and it's funny because it shows up in like friendships too. It's like when you're telling me a story and I'm just like the first half I'm like lost, but then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come back to it. And then I listen enough to where I'm like, okay, I can ask questions to make it look like I was paying attention the whole time, but I wasn't.
Oh my goodness.
And like whatever bit of information you have, you're just like scanning it and referencing it, and you're like, this must be what we're talking about.
I don't know if you notice too, but sometimes like you'll tell me a story about like one person, and then like the half of the story I'm actually interested now, and I'm like, wait, who are you talking about again?
Oh, I've noticed you do that.
Yeah, and I'm like, I shouldn't.
Like a keyword will catch your attention.
At this point, I'm just gonna like, this is me, you know, and I'm not gonna act like, oh, what's it called? I've been listening the whole time. I actually care, you know. It's just my ADHD, and I'm just gonna fucking own it, you know. Yeah. Who were you talking about?
Yeah.
I've had that too, where like they'll say a keyword, and it'll remind me of like a core memory or something, and then that'll branch off to something else, and then I'll have a gap in what they said. Yeah. Because that will have taken over for a second. Like if it's a good memory or an intense one, I'll be like, oh yeah, and then I'll come back to it, and they're like, and that's when they got to the park, and I'm like, what are they doing in the park? Who's they? You know?
But what you do is you say, yeah. Oh, that's crazy, man. Like this is some
I
of the
wonder who
keywords.
taught me, bruh.
Dude, today I did that to you.
Fortnite on the phone when I was like in college, and we like, I would call him, right, and he'd be playing Fortnite, and I already knew he's gonna get like 30% of this conversation. Yeah. And so he'd be playing, but in his defense, you know, it's a competitive game, and like he would get into like a lot of altercations, like fights and stuff, so you have to like pay attention. Yeah. But I just remember I was like I used to mess with him sometimes because I could tell he wasn't paying attention anymore. And like you could just say anything, man. Like it was funny. Like I remember I'd be like, what would I say? I'd ask you like, did you kill that guy? And you'd be like, that's pretty good, Bobo. And you'd just say something like that. Or I'd be like, do you think so? Like, what am I saying to you? Does it make sense? And you'd be like, as long as you're happy. You know what I mean? Like what? Like you would just say like the most random things.
I know, I'll say yes to questions that sometimes require a no.
Yeah.
Or an actual answer.
I'd be like, do you know where the remote control is? And you'd be like, yeah. Mission accomplished. Dude, the other day I was delivering, right? And the kitchen was backed up at McDonald's, and so I was on my lunch. And I could see on his face that this dude's patience was wearing thin. But, you know, it's the first time he's ever spoken to me, you know, and I don't think I was being... I don't know, I just felt like I was a moment for him to let off some exhaust. But I was like, really? You know, like, I walked up to him and I go, hey, man, do you know the code to the men's restroom? And he just goes like this, yeah. But he looks like he's rushed, but he's standing there and he's looking at me like with intense eyes. And I remember I had like that like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire countdown where I was thinking like, do I say this? Do I say that to him? You know what I mean? Because you know me, on the spot I can come up with some flavorful things to say to people. Yeah. And I remember I didn't choose violence that day. I was like, you think you could give it to me? And then he was like, yeah, it's whatever it was. And I just remember thinking like, I get it, he's having a hard day, but like, I trade you. You know what I mean? Like, you're in an air-conditioned room. Like, I'm in a metal box. You know? Like, the air conditioner's for a suggestion, you know? And I just remember thinking, like, of all the people you could have lost your patience with, I felt like I was one of the last people being in a uniform delivering. Yeah. But, also, you know, it's important not to, like, take too many things, because I know I've failed people before when I've had, like, frustration or bad days. Like, I'm sure you can find plenty of interactions I've had where I would not want to be represented by my decisions. So, ultimately, I was just like, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, he's just having a bad day. He's probably a pretty neat guy, but in the moment, I was just like... On top of that, you know I have to use the bathroom, so why are we playing games? You know what I mean? Like, you don't know how long I've been holding it. I gotta dig for the end, you know? like in the moment, I almost wanted to ask another employee, like just be like, and just like, you know.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
I feel like I've gotten better at that because, yeah, like even earlier today, like, so before I touch on that, I used to do that. Oh yeah. Oh, as long as you're happy, like the stuff you were mentioning. And part of it was like, oh, I don't want them to make them feel bad. Like I want them to feel like they're worthy enough for me to pay attention to, you know. And so now I've become a bit more comfortable in my skin, in my brain, like a bit more understanding, more like compassionate towards like the way my brain works. And so now, for the sake of listening and for the sake of like knowing the truth that you're presenting to me or whatever story you're presenting to me, I say like, I did this to you today, like you were telling me something and I was like focusing on something else and you're like, right? And you're like, right, isn't that funny? Like, or you get that? And my brain wanted to say like, yeah, bro, that's crazy. Like, that's super funny. But I had no idea what you were saying. But what I actively told myself to say, I was like, say it again. So I was like, okay, I'll go through that little bit of uncomfortability. He might take it the wrong way. Oh, you weren't listening. I got to repeat it. But I was like, oh, well, like, I'm here. I want to be here to listen to what you have to say. So I'm like, say it again. I will take accountability and be like, my brain was somewhere else.
Because it matters to you.
Say it again, bro.
Yeah, own it.
Say it again. And you said it again and I got it. And I was like, okay, I'm here. Like, I understand what you're saying. Like, cool. And I appreciate that, like, you were mature enough to not take it personal, right? Still, sometimes that
I still do both, though.
I was going to say,
I'll be like, yeah, bro, wait, run it back. I'll be like, you know.
Bro. No, seriously. So, yeah, I noticed that today with something you were trying to tell me. And yeah, it can trigger me too when I feel like I'm not being listened to. I mean, it's a bit annoying, right? But like you said, like try not to take things personal. And yeah, just.
I think this is also like helpful. Us talking about this, it's very enlightening. We all do this.
Yeah.
Well,
some more than others. I wouldn't know.
Right. Fascinating. All right.
Okay, so I think this is gonna wrap it up, right? This was pretty good. I enjoyed this. Thanks for coming on, guys, doing this with me. This has been fun. But yeah, so that's the end of the episode. You guys want to do it with me?
Yeah, we did.
Thank you for listening. Take care of yourself. Peace out.